Sanjiv Bhasin also joining us on the show to talk to us about which are the stocks which will be in focus today and more importantly, what you should do with them. And Mr. Bhasin, if you're talking about stocks which will be in focus today, you have to start with IT, right? I mean, Wipro, ADR, if it's anything to go by, it was up around 17-18%. But once they do rally, let's say over 10%, do they become shorting candidates again or should you even chase the momentum? What's the way one should approach IT now?
Well, good morning, Anisha. Wish you a very happy Lodi, Pongal, Makar Sankranti, and what a day!
I
So
should
it
have
tells you
started with
all the
that, you're
fresh new.
right.
What a new, look at the new paradigm in the stock markets. Never say never, and particularly to those new PMSs who said we'll never touch PSUs, and the other said we'll never touch IT. Where are you? I have been saying Wipro, HCL Tech will lead from the front. When did you see a 6% move on the IT index? So all the hobnobbing will go on the side, all the weakness and the pessimism is all part of it. There was enough shorts to get squeezed. And I think Wipro numbers are going to see at least 550 come on the stock. As a disclosure, I have been covering Wipro on your channel. So in the stock market, never say never. Whatever you think is not feasible will get feasible over a period of time. And that is what IT has proven. Secondly, it has also set the cat amongst the pigeon that you are at 22,000, where naysayers last week were talking of a lower top and markets are all about fine tuning. I have been telling you from the last 10 days, it's the index which is going to make a move. Reliance started that. IT has been the real icing on the cake. And now you will have State Bank leading from the front and so on. So I think 22,000 on the index is there, but that's a fair value. Pick and choose your stocks. Wipro still looks good for 550. As a disclosure, Wipro has been one of our top picks. I was just hearing Nikunj on the commentary on Indigo. Well, if you can't buy Indigo, then buy Ashok Leland, because that is the bus which takes you from the aircraft to the terminal, and they are seeing a record inflow on buses. ABSL, AMC, another stock which I've been picking up for the asset management, hit a new high, and so on. So I have a couple of stocks. If you want, I can reiterate which I think are value buys at this time, and we still think that the broader market will be underperforming, but it's going to be stock specific from here on, because 22,000 is a crucial number which you have reached faster than we expected.
Okay, Sanjeev, so I see that you're in a very good mood. Let's find out what the outlook is then when it comes to HDFC Bank, because investors will be eyeing the numbers with a magnifying glass come tomorrow. What are you expecting?
So Avan, I've been in a good mood since Nikunj and I started the trend of dancing on the bhangra when I started coming on your channel. And by the grace of God, we've been hitting new highs. So the investors have gained. That's the main reason you, me, and everyone is here, so that the investor makes money. I think HDFC Bank numbers, we know that the merger will cause a little bit of pressure on margins, but that's part and parcel of such a big base. But I think the guidance and the volume-based credit expansion is very, very strong. I would lay more credence on State Bank numbers, which are again due, where I think the best ever numbers will be reported. Secondly, I would also give a look at Kotak Bank, which I think can come out with very stellar numbers, given that their franchise is doing extremely well. So some of parts, I think Bank Nifty is now poised to be a slight outperformer, but I would be overweight on SBI and Kotak rather than an HDFC, which has seen a sweet move over here.
SBI and Kotak, those are the top recommendations. And finally and hopefully that Bank Nifty will be out of the slumber that we had seen. But Mr. Bhasin, how are you looking into the Tata Consumer acquisitions? Do you think this is something which is needed to fuel their growth, or do you think this is coming in at a bit of an expensive valuation?
Correct. It's a glass half full, half empty. They realized that organically there is a limit to growth. They wanted to do the inorganic way. They've used their valuation, which is at a high. So when you do these at a high, you're using your market cap to the best advantage of an acquisition, whether it's cash or stock or whatever. I think it is fully priced given, but it has been an outperformer. Tata Consumer, Nestle, Colgate, all three have been relative outperformers. But we will wait for more color from the management on how the equity dilution will play out. Like I said, you are using your market cap at a new high to do this acquisition. Part of it will be played out well. Part will see return on equity fall. So status quo, if you have it, stay with it. Don't chase it. rather buy a Marico or a Nestle, which I think can be an outperformer from here.
All right, fair enough. That's the view coming in. But what about the outlook then when it comes to the entire oil and gas space? Given that there are reports as well with respect to where crude oil prices are headed, what's your outlook then as to how you're reading into some of these stocks and the kind of moves as well that we've seen within the oil marketing companies and ONGC?
Yeah, so Avan, that is what the energy index is at a new high, which is what is startling that both OMCs and the downstream, upstream refineries are doing well. I mean, look at where ONGC is now; it's at a new high, and so are HPBP. So I think the under ownership of PSUs is now coming to the fore, and I still think there is a. Well, by the way, look at MRPL. Look at some of these downstream companies which have come out with excellent numbers. So I think refining margins will be strong. And like I said, ONGC, but I think Reliance will take the cake here because they have put in into their O2C, OTC business. They've invested. Now the return on investments will be sharp. Even though they just process soft crude, there will be higher margins this time. And their sum of part businesses make Reliance one of the large caps along with ONGC. We have Oil India and ONGC in our portfolio, which we are playing as a proxy. But we are also bullish on HPBP IOC, particularly IOC. I think they will come out with the best numbers ever in the history of the company in this quarter.
Wow, best numbers in the history. We'll watch out for that. But of course, the big question is how much of it is already in the price given that run up that we have seen from October onwards. I think that stock has nearly doubled.
Sanjeev, meantime, just wanted to get in your take on Polycab because it has surely been a rough week with all of the news that has been surrounding it. But today, Goldman Sachs has come out with a buy rating on the stock, a target price of 57.50, saying that post the recent correction, the stock is trading at 29 times the FY25 earnings, which is a 38% discount to the domestic peers. Your take?
So difficult to comment. Obviously, foreign brokerages will come out with reports because that suits their, that suits their themselves. And at this time, the company will go in all means to see that their image is rectified. But what comes out of the outcome would be very, very key because corporate governance at this level is very key. This has been one of the institutional favorites. So obviously, there will be enough optimism and pessimism. Optimism for people who are using this decline to buy, and pessimism for those who are stuck with it. And I think that as the events unfold, it would be better to comment on that. So we would reserve our comments. It's an institutional favorite stock, and they will be both sides of the coin. But what it has done is it has told us that some of these valuation discomforts is now coming to the fore. And for whatever reasons, whether it's an IT raid or under invoicing, you have to be cautious there. Hence, we've been saying stay with the index. I think Reliance, SBI, ICICI, these are the stocks and IT which are actually more reasonably valued and which have enough leg room to give you comfort of staying invested and still being there when the party is on.
Okay, Mr. Bhasin, on that note, we'll let you go. Thanks so much for making time and speaking with us.